Welcome, friends. Welcome to this briefing on updates on the West Asia developments. We begin with updates from Department of Fertilizer. Over to you, Aparna ji.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Namaskar. On behalf of Department of Fertilizer, this is to inform in the press briefing that the overall stock position of the country is comfortable. For Kharif 2026, the fertilizer requirement has been reassessed by the Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare at 383.9 lakh metric ton. And against this, the stock as on today is 197.56 lakh metric ton, that is more than 51%, significantly higher than the usual level of 33%. The purchase of fertilizer has been about 86.65 lakh metric ton for the ongoing Kharif. That is approximately 22.57% of the total requirement. Besides, I would like to apprise that the farmers have also procured 11.17 lakh metric ton of organic manure in the season compared to 3.20 LMT during the corresponding period last year. This substantial increase reflects a positive trend towards greater adoption of the organic nutrient sources and a gradual shift in the farmers' preference from chemical fertilizer to the organic alternatives. At present, there is no major challenge in availability. The domestic production and import continues, and a total of 147.40 lakh metric ton have been imported as well as domestically manufactured after the crisis situation. In the ongoing June, more than 25 lakh metric ton of imported urea, DAP and PKs have arrived at the ports, and a tender of 17 LMT of urea is under progress. Besides, we are regular with all the subsidy bills are being paid as per the budgetary provision, and the situation is being monitored at the highest level in the empowered group of secretary meetings to ensure adequate availability of fertilizer and raw materials. Thank you.
Thank you, Aparna ji. We'll take updates from Petroleum Ministry. Today we have with us Mr. Praveen Kanuja, Additional Secretary from the Ministry. Over to you, Praveen.
Thank you, ma'am. The brief updates from the Petroleum Ministry are as follows. Despite the ongoing situation in West Asia, supplies of crude oil, LPG and natural gas, they remain stable. And we have adequate stocks of petrol, diesel and LPG which are available in the country. Coming to LPG, the domestic LPG production has been maximized. In fact, yesterday on the LPG day, World LPG Day, our domestic refineries and fractionators, they produce 53 TMT per day, about 52, 53 TMT per day. This is 60% more than the pre-crisis levels. We haven't had any news of dry out at LPG distributorships. LPG backlogs have now reached less than 4 days. Online LPG cylinder bookings have reached 99%, and DAC, delivery authentication code, is about 96%. During the last 4 days, the gap between the last conference and today, LPG cylinder bookings were about 42 lakhs per day. Deliveries were 44 lakhs per day. And then on the commercial LPG side, we are reaching the pre-crisis level. As I mentioned, the stocks are now very comfortable. We sold about 6 TMT per day, our OMCs. In case of FTLs, last 4 days we sold about 1.9 lakh FTL 5 kg cylinders. Now, following the June contract price, as you are all aware that the LPG pricing in India and actually across the world, the LPG is based on the international product pricing, which is international benchmark is Saudi CP. Now, in the June contract price, as we call it, Saudi CP contract price, the cost of supplying a 14 kg cylinder has risen to over 1,600 rupees per cylinder. if we take the Saudi CP price, which is about $780 per MT, and you must have seen the press release which was issued day before yesterday. And given the premium of $190 per metric ton, the cost which is occurring for the OMCs is 1,600 rupees per 14.2 kg cylinder. The under recovery for the OMCs for each sale of LPG cylinder 14.2 kg is about 700. Now, with that in mind, 29 rupees the hike has taken place since yesterday per cylinder. Now, that is 1 rupee per day, which is actually, if you have a household using 12 cylinders a year, that is with 5 members, this is 20 paisa per day per household member. So it's a very minor hike, a very, very marginal hike. And for PMUY customers, as you must have seen in the PIB, given the fact that average consumption is 4 to 5 cylinders a year per PMUY connection, there has been a cap of 300 rupees per cylinder, which is the subsidy given as the DBT to these PMUY customers, is capped at 4 cylinders now. First 4 cylinders. 4 cylinders, you will get 300 rupees per kg for all PMUY customers. Coming to the refineries, our refineries are all operating at optimum level. And then for the petchem industry, where we supply C3, C4 molecules from these refineries, since 1st June 26, more than 2760 metric ton of C3, C4 molecules, which is basically leading to propylene, polypropylene, butylene, etc. And more than 1660 MT of butyl acrylate has been sold by Mumbai, Kochi, Vizag, Chennai, Mathura and Gujarat refineries. Now, these are supplied to chemical, pharma, paint and other DCPC, MSME industries. And there is a joint working group which consists of all the stakeholders of all the ministries, the concerned ministries, DCPC, pharma and DPIIT. And we regularly monitor the situation. And in fact, last 100 days, there have been no supply crunch on that count. Coming to natural gas, the number of domestic PNG connections have now risen to more than 1.69 crore. And since March 2026, 9.16 lakh PNG connections have been gasified, and the CGD entities have created infrastructure for additional 3.05 lakh connections. And 9.24 lakh customers have registered for new connections. So that is another very, very good development on the PNG, domestic PNG side. And as you are aware that our Honorable Minister of Road Transport, Highways and Honorable Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas, they had launched Hero Motor Corp's 2 flex fuel motorcycles on 3rd of June 2026. Then again, both the ministers launched Maruti Suzuki's flex fuel WagonR on 4th of June 2026. Now these flex fuel vehicles basically will take fuel from 20% blended petrol, like ethanol with 20%, petrol with 20% blending, up to 85%. So there's a huge range of 20% ethanol to 85%. And these are specially designed vehicles. So the normal vehicle will not be able to take E85 fuel. So this I wanted to clarify through you. And this E85 fuel was launched on 5th of June. So now you see OEMs manufacturing the flex fuel vehicles and the OMCs supplying these E85 fuel as per the BS standard. They have all converged. We are expecting, we have already started with about 50 petrol pumps dispensing E85 fuel. And we expect it to go very soon to 150 by December 2026. We expect it to go to 500 ROs will get E85 fuels, and by December 2027, it is our estimate is about 5,000 petrol pumps selling E85 fuels. Now, E85 fuel is a very, very it's a very, very green fuel. It has 80 to 85% of ethanol and 14 to 19% of petrol, and there is a regular BS standard which it follows. It is, as I mentioned, it is meant for specially designed flex fuel vehicles and not for normal petrol vehicles. But these flex fuel vehicles, why are they called flex fuel? Because they can take ethanol from 20% to 85%. So there is no issue about them. There's some kind of range anxiety. Because now you can use even normal base petrol. The price, as the Honorable Minister had mentioned in his inauguration, that it would be 20 rupees per litre lower than the E20, the base fuel. So the calorific value, which is slightly lower than the base fuel, so that will be taken care of. So the RON and etc., you can see further details in the PIB notes. What we wanted to say is that FFVs, flex fuel vehicles, EVs, fuel cell EVs, hydrogen LNG is the way forward in the transportation for greener fuels, domestic production of ethanol, and it helps in mitigation of carbon emissions and supports agricultural economy. Coming to enforcement, the LPG to check hoarding and black marketing of LPG cylinders, 7 FIRs have been registered and 2 persons have been arrested during last 4 days. Surprise inspections by the PSU OMCs have also taken place, and that happened at 890 LPG distributorships, and penalties have been imposed on 105 LPG distributors. Coming to petrol and diesel, on the enforcement side, 1800 raids have been conducted during the last 4 days by the state authorities, and similarly 2400 surprise inspections were conducted by the PSU OMCs. And then I'll come to the public advisory that हम अपने दैनिक उपयोग में ऊर्जा बचाने के लिए हर संभव प्रयास करेंगे. Honorable Prime Minister had mentioned it at quite a few number of times. थोक और औद्योगिक उपभोक्ताओं से अनुरोध है कि वे अधिकृत खरीद थोक माध्यम से ही डीजल खरीदें. So because that was leading to some kind of disturbances at the retail outlets, we would request everyone to see that अफवाहों से वो लोग सावधान रहें और सही जानकारी के लिए केवल आधिकारिक स्रोतों पर ही भरोसा करें. और नागरिकों से ये भी अनुरोध है कि वे पीएनजी, इंडक्शन, इलेक्ट्रिक कुकटॉप जैसे वैकल्पिक ईंधनों का उपयोग करें. Thank you.
Thank you, Praveen ji. Over to you, Upesh ji. Updates from Shipping Ministry.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon. There has been a recent report that today around 1:30 p.m. there has been a fire reported on a vessel, MT Marivex, in which there were 24 Indian seafarers. This is the preliminary information which we have received, based on which, as per available information, all Indian seafarers are presently safe. We are coordinating with Ministry of External Affairs, our Indian missions abroad, Indian Navy, Ministry of Defense, to ensure their safety. The DG Shipping Control Room has handled about 12,020 calls and more than 26,832 emails since activation. In the last 96 hours, a total of 390 calls and 968 emails have been received from seafarers, their families, and maritime stakeholders. The Ministry, through the Director General of Shipping, has facilitated safe repatriation of more than 3,506 Indian seafarers so far, including 32 in the last 96 hours. Port operations across India remain normal with no congestions reported. Thank you.
Thank you, Upesh ji. Now we'll take questions from the first row. 3, 238, 268, 130, 26.
Thank you. Amar Zaidi from PTI. A couple of questions to Khanuja sir. When was the decision to curtail the subsidy for Ujjwala from 9 cylinders, as was taken in August 7, 2025, to 4 now taken? What were the reasons? Wouldn't it have been more prudent to have increased from 4 to 8 if the consumption was the only criteria for that? To Shipping Ministry, where was the strikes taken? Were the ship hit by any projectile coming from either Iran or Israel that caused the fire? Where was this ship located? Can you give us a little bit more coordinates on that? Thank you.
Hi, Sukal from the Indian Express. First question is to Khanuja sir. I just wanted to, understand as to whether this curtailment in allocation of subsidized LPG cylinders for Ujjwala beneficiaries, whether this decision is going to be reviewed going forward if and when the Strait of Hormuz crisis is resolved and the supplies normalize, or is it something that is now going to be under implementation for until a review, irrespective of what happens in the Strait of Hormuz? Is that going to be the case, or whether it will be reviewed in future? The other question is to Upesh sir. So again, wanted to know exactly where was this vessel located when it, I mean, the fire erupted, and whether the fire was the result of an attack or some other reason. Also, is this an India flagged vessel, or does it only have Indian seafarers on board? That's it. Thank you.
First to Opesh sir. So can you just spell out the name of the vessel and what was it carrying and what was the voyage route of the vessel? For Praveen sir, sir, we are now in the monsoon season is here, and earlier some of the refiners, they had delayed their maintenance shutdown. So monsoon is usually a weak period of a low period of demand. So can you please tell which are the refineries that will be taking maintenance shutdown, taking advantage of this lean period? Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I have two questions for the Oil Ministry, Mr. Khanuja. Sir, you said that the LPG under recoveries are around rupees 700 per 14.2 kg cylinder. What are the current under recoveries for petrol and diesel? Second question, sir, you said on 7th of June, per day LPG production has increased to 52,000 tons per day. We understand that in the last week of May and the first week roughly of June, the production was in the range of 50,000 tons per day. Is it just for a single day that we've seen this 52,000 jump, or would it stabilize around this level, or it will go back to the 50,000 tons per day level?
Good afternoon, Saptaparna Ghosh from the Hindu. Question to Praveen sir again. Just a bit of clarity, sir. We had been told that the under recovery on domestic LPG per cylinder was around 700 rupees per cylinder. So just for clarity, after the 29 rupee hike the other day, the under recovery has not gone down. I mean, as in we haven't been able to curtail any of the under recovery. If you could, please help us with some clarification on that. Yeah, hi, Udit from the print. To Praveen sir, my question is that, sir, you mentioned that the commercial LPG supply is gradually coming to normal levels. So could you explain like what is the consumption level today and what is it pre-crisis? And to Upesh sir, last week we were told that the Indian shipping services has been increased from the Red Sea area and all. So now today there has been some news that the Houthis has trying to block Red Sea. So do you have any update whether if any Indian vessels are stuck there? Thank you.
Okay, we'll begin with the answers. Upeshi, will you start with the answers? Okay, 1 minute. There's one more question, please.
Hi, Sesha from NDTV Profit. My question is to Praveen sir. Sir, on the ATF Price Stabilization Fund, wanted to understand, have you received any interest from the airlines so far? Any MOUs been signed or any talks? Has they shown any interest so far? Is there an update to that?
Upeshi?
Thank you, ma'am. So whether the ship was hit by projectile or not, presently we are trying to get updated information. As you're aware, the fire incident is of 1:30 today. So we are in touch with the owners. We are trying to ascertain the facts. We are also in touch with Ministry of External Affairs and a mission at Oman. The vessel was well out of Strait of Hormuz and well clear south. With respect to spelling of the vessel, it is Marivex. I will repeat, Marivex. Marivex. The vessel was not carrying any cargo. It was in a ballast condition. It's an oil tanker. No, it's a Madagascar flag. So there were only Indian seafarers on board. And with respect to Red Sea, presently we have not received any information of any attack or anything by Houthis. The shipping services are presently operating as discussed. Thank you.
So I'll take the question one by one, especially on the reduction of subsidized cylinder from 9 to 4. No, as we have already mentioned, it's in the PIB also, that whether I'm a Ujjwala customer or a non-Ujjwala customer, I'm getting cylinder which should have costed 1600 at 942, even if I'm a non-Ujjwala customer. Now, in that case, that is also an indirect subsidy to the customer. Now, over and above that, Ujjwala customers, they get 300 rupees more. So overall, if you see, they are getting 1000 rupees. The non-Ujjwala are also getting 700 rupees cylinder. Based on these under recoveries and because of the similar under recoveries during Ukraine and later, the government had compensated the OMCs with 22,000 crore in 22-23 and then 30,000 crores in 24-25, which is still continuing, which actually means that government paid a subsidy through the budget which actually amounted to 52,000 crores. Now similar under recoveries, even higher under recoveries are going on. So whether it's an Ujjwala customer or a non-Ujjwala customer, government has taken a decision to give cylinder at a highly subsidized price, which is 700 for non-Ujjwala and 1000 for this. So even after the fourth cylinder, there will be an indirect subsidy of 700 to even the non-Ujjwala customers. So with that, government has taken a call to continue these highly subsidized cylinders for all the citizens would be costing something to the government exchequer in due course of time. So that was the idea. Now, average consumption for a Ujjwala customer is 4 to 5. So that is why initial 4 to 5 cylinders for an average Ujjwala customer. So this was given as 1200 rupees subsidy and over and above the under recoveries of 700 rupees per cylinder. So that was the idea. Coming at monsoon shutdown, I had the data, but then we'll put that in the PIB. We have got the details, but we'll share it slightly later in that press release. I don't have. I just, but we'll put that in the. That we'll see. That if there are some refineries, we'll put that in the PIB, that press release. Now, the idea that the under recoveries of LPG of 29, whether it is reducing the under recoveries, it's a very, very dynamic situation. The Saudi CP, as you know, that summers it actually comes down. The requirement of LPG for cooking is actually lower in the summer seasons. But then it has gone up and there is also a premium. So it would be very difficult to say that 29 rupees has compensated. Overall, on an average, there has been an under recovery of 700 rupees. So this 29 in any case is very minor as compared to 700. So that I think would not matter as such. I believe that was the question. I'll just complete one more. The commercial LPG. Now, from the data which I have got, it was about 10%, about 8, 9 TMT a month. So we'll correct the numbers in the release. But then now, as I mentioned, it has already reached up to 5.7. So about 6 TMT we have already reached. That is why you don't see whenever you go to a restaurant or eating joints or wherever you go, you don't see people asking for LPG is not there or something. That is also, and even on the industrial usage of that LPG, we don't see any problem. In fact, the joint working group which I had with all the ministries, concerned ministries, no one has asked for any meeting, whether it's for animal husbandry or for dairy industry or for pharma or for chemicals. Sometimes I tell them that please come for a meeting. So that is, we have reached substantial about 70-75% of that, even on the commercial LPG consumption. So then ATF MOUs, I believe that our OMCs are in touch with the airlines and something would be happening. We'll get the updated status. As of now, it's not there. That is also, it's actually on, the process is on. The under recoveries on petrol and diesel as of now about 30 rupees per liter on diesel. Even today, when you buy diesel in Delhi for 95 rupees, actually balance 30 rupees is borne by the company. And for petrol, it's about 6 rupees per liter, even now. And then the daily losses is still to the tune of 600 to 700 crore for the OMCs on an industry basis. Yes, yes. About the under recoveries I told you about 700 we have mentioned in the PIB also per cylinder, and 30 rupees per liter of diesel. There is an under recovery of 30 rupees. And for petrol, it's about 6 rupees per liter for petrol in Delhi. That's the daily prices. So that is then the production, the production has stabilized. I've been seeing that it's about 48, 49. It started with 32 TMT per day. But then we had the control order because the realization that domestic cooking is mainly LPG in the country. So production, there was a control order which said that everything C3, C4, these are the molecules which actually go into propane and butane and produce LPG for the domestic usage for cooking. So there was a control order which said that you cannot do that for the petchem or for other industrial usage. Slowly and slowly it has been taken care of. We have enough supplies. From 32 it actually went to 45, 47, and it's even last 3 days it's above 50. So it's more of a stability there. But once the crisis goes, the things are not that certain today. But there will be some diversion to again petchem and paints and all. So how much would that be stabilizing? That one has to see. But as of now, 50 is a stable number. What I can assure is that so 32 to 48, 49, 50, and because of some, because there have been one refinery actually was under shutdown even during last month. So that means that 45 to 50 will be able to maintain. And with the ample supplies of LPG and if you see that shipping data, it's there. So it will not impinge on any availability of supply or stocks of the LPG. Thank you. You saw in the PIB, sir.
Last time also when it happened on August 7th, the cabinet decided to bring it down from 12 to 9.
Okay.
Whether this decision will be reviewed if and when the state of commerce crisis is resolved.
I think it's, I had just mentioned that 4 to 5 is the average consumption. They are already, all the Ujjwala customers, together with the non-Ujjwala customers, are getting 700 rupees of that under recoveries is also an indirect subsidy. And I just mentioned 52,000 crores have gone out of the government exchequer. There would be time to review when the under recoveries are down. So as of now, I have no idea on that review timeline.
Thank you, friends. Thank you, officers. Thank you all.